Welcome to the Success with Jewelry podcast, where we invite you inside our conversations about business success and marketing for jewelry designers and entrepreneurs.
We're Laryssa and Liz, jewelry marketing experts with a combined 16 years of experience in jewelry marketing and proven track records in helping jewelry brands meet their goals. When you listen to or watch this podcast, you get an intimate and exclusive peek behind the curtain of all the things you wish you could know about earning success in this industry.
Welcome to episode 83. In this episode, Laryssa and I are going to be diving deeper into the topic of finding your audience and discussing customer personas. We also want to tell you about our insider community. When you join, you'll have access to extended episodes full of tips that you can start implementing today and further resources about each topic we discuss. In the bonus content of this episode, we'll share how to use customer personas and questions to ask that will help inspire your research. To get access to exclusive content as well as direct access to me and Laryssa, sign up by visiting successwithjewelry.com. Hey, Laryssa, let's get into it.
Customer personas, the age-old marketing topic that everyone loves, right?
I think that a lot of people don't love creating customer personas.
Really? So
Yes,
fun.
I think that this is a really challenging exercise for designers, but I feel like since we talked about finding your audience and we were kind of all over the place in that episode, we wanted to talk about something that was more specific.
Specific, but to many people feels abstract.
It feels so abstract to people and it feels confusing. And so hopefully after we talk through this, it feels a little bit better for everyone.
Yeah, I find the biggest feedback people give me is that it feels just like a creative writing exercise or something.
Yeah, or they like don't know where to start or they don't know. It just feels too abstract, too out there, too not real. And kind of like, what's the point, right?
What's the point? So what is the point? Why is this important?
I mean, the clearer you are about who you're talking to, the easier it will be to create content, right? So, if you create these personas, if you have clarity on who you're talking to, everything else becomes easier for there. It's kind of like having goals and then having a place that you're operating from and something that you're trying to reach versus just, doing business or doing things with no roadmap.
Yeah, that's so true. I see it even in my own business, even though I don't sell jewelry. Like I'll be on a meeting with some people on my team and we're trying to like figure out this issue. Like, okay, how should we set this up? And we're like going off in all these different directions and ideas. And it's like, we reach a point where it's like, wait a minute, what's the customer going to think about this? What is their challenge? What are they going to want? And it helps us just focus our brainstorming so much more.
I should do this exercise. I've not done this exercise. I think I have a good idea of who I'm speaking to, but I'm not very specific. Like for me, it's just independent jewelry designers, but that's kind of not specific enough. And I need to dig
Yeah.
deeper.
It's tough because, and I will probably dive into this more, but like, especially when you're just starting your business, if you haven't had a lot of sales yet, you haven't been out there like doing events, like, no, you're not, you're going to be guessing more than knowing. But the further along you go and the deeper you go into this and the more experience you have just working, those customer personas will be like clear as day for you.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of the tough part for people is when they're just getting started. And it's like same with like creating kind of like a brand book or doing any kind of the branding work. It feels like once you do it, it's set in stone. But like with customer personas, you're going to be tweaking them, right? As you learn more.
So much. Yeah. I
Um,
even have customer personas from only like a year and a half ago that I'm like, yeah, those need to be changed a little bit.
yeah, you have to look at it at the very least annually, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then with how many to create, you really, I mean, start with one and then you can build from there. If you have really clear definition in your business, like you have a bridal business and you have a fashion line, then you might want to start with two different personas, but you can really start with one.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't have too many either, like, maybe not more than 3 people, and try to, like I know that's tough because obviously you're not just selling to 3 individual people, so it's, like, a little bit hard to wrap your head around, but it should be, like, a common common ground of many people, like, merged into 1 to 3 people.
And it's like the more niche you get in your business, and we've said this before, the more you'll grow. So it is important to niche down. And I think that's another challenge for designers with customer personas is it's like, am I leaning too specifically into this type of person? And then am I missing these other people?
Mhm. That's a tough question, and I understand it a lot. But we've found that niching is ends up being more successful, especially when you're starting and like really just understanding how to have a business.
Niching is the answer. I mean, you can't be everything to everyone. But some of you might be wondering, like, what is a customer persona? So, just to quickly go over what that is, like, based on data and research, customer personas are detailed profiles of someone who defines your ideal customer or target audience. And you create these with a combination of sales data, Google Analytics, social media, personal experience, and customer reviews. But when you're just starting, you just kind of do it, right?
It's a little bit of a guessing game. I mean, use whatever data you have. There must be something. There must be like a person you've imagined. Or maybe you wore your own jewelry out on the street and someone stopped you and said they liked it. That's your customer persona, like whoever that person was, you know?
And really, I know a lot of people come from like creating jewelry as a hobby or as a passion, and they don't necessarily think of the business side at the start of things, but you probably have somebody in mind when you're designing and creating the work.
Definitely. Yeah. One common mistake I think is just assuming that your customer persona is you. There could be a world where that's true, but I think actually in most cases you're closing yourself off if you just imagine literally your customer persona is like who you are.
I always hear, oh, I'm creating jewelry for me, or I'm creating jewelry for anyone. Those are the two things I hear all the time.
Mhm.
But,
Okay, so do you want to be the only person who wears your
and you should wear it. I mean, you
Yeah,
should
yeah.
it, but your customer persona should not be you. It could have similar characteristics,
Mhm. Absolutely.
but essentially when you're creating a customer persona, so we're going to get into how to create one, you want to start with 3 to 5 personas and include these categories: demographics, a summary about this person, their interests and values, personality traits, maybe imagine a day in the life, their social media and digital habits, like how do they find information and how do they learn about new brands, their influences, their shopping habits, needs, and frustrations, and other products or collections that they love.
Yeah, and Liz mentioned 3 to 5, which contradicts what we said earlier about 1 to 3, but I think, especially if you have the time and the energy, maybe start broader and, like, get a real good brainstorm out, and that way, like, it pushes you to think beyond maybe, like, the first thing that comes to your head, and that way you can continue to, like, hone those down into, like, 1 to 3 personas.
A good exercise. I think that's a good point because we did contradict ourselves, but
It's okay.
starting bigger and then like narrowing it down, I think could, or like combining some of them. Maybe you're noticing that
Yes.
creating personas that like kind of overlap in a sense. So combining, narrowing down, I think is definitely a good thing. But it sounds fun. I mean, as much as designers give us pushback for doing this exercise, like reading through that, it sounds kind of fun to create that. And we're going to get into this more in the bonus episode, but I'm just thinking about all the ways that having these customer personas and having these answers to these questions can help you with marketing.
I think my favorite one, and this is more like advanced down the line marketing, but like if you know your customer persona and you want to explore other marketing tactics like collaborations, for example, with other brands, The best way to know which brands to collaborate with is to know what your customer persona loves out there. Like, where do they shop? What do they love? How are they dressing? Like, what are they putting in their house? All of those things will guide you in that direction.
Yes, all of that. I think that, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was like spiraling into this, how nice it is to have that clarity, because then you can hyper focus, and it helps when like opportunities hit your inbox or come at you that you're like, maybe I should say yes to this. It kind of cuts out that time that you need to spend thinking about those opportunities, because you have more clarity on what you should be doing and who you should be talking to. Will my customer be at this event? No. Okay, I'm not going to do it.
That is so true. You can be more efficient, cut down on that confusion, get to what matters.
Because I think the hardest thing about having a business is just the vagueness of what you should be doing, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And like, especially to the solopreneurs, which is most of you out there, it's like you have no one to ask necessarily. I mean, you can ask us, but, and please ask us. We want to hear from you. But you really are doing it alone,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's like you're looking at the week and you're like, what am I doing? Like, what should I be doing this week, or like what should I be focusing on? And having clarity on the customers that you're trying to talk to will help guide you in that.
Amen.
Yes. All right, so have you created customer personas? Let us know. Visit successwithjewelry.com. We'd love to know what you're thinking, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks for being a part of our community.